Right, okay, we'll get started. I'm sure we'll expect a few more people coming, but my name is Kate and I'm from Find Courses, and I'm here to welcome you to the next session in our Learning at Work Week live event. This one is going to be great. It's on mental health in the workplace, and it's being delivered by Dan from the NCFE. I'm going to hand over to Dan now to do his presentation. Thanks, Dan.
Very much. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be invited to participate in Learning at Work Week, and on a very topical subject that I think is important to all of us. So my name is Dan Howard and I'm the Operations Director for Learning for Work here at NCFE. And it's a pleasure to welcome you all today. Just to give a bit of background, NCFE are a registered educational charity and a provider of a range of quality educational services. We do have a strong heritage in terms of learning, and we're proud to have been at the forefront of technical education now for over 170 years. We are passionate about designing, developing and certificating nationally recognised NCFE and cash qualifications, and our core purpose and mission as an educational charity is to promote and advance learning, which is really dedicated to improving people's lives. I think mental health has never been higher on the agenda, and I think that has been exacerbated more so during recent months as we've all faced the global pandemic and had to make changes not only to our professional lives but personal lives as well. And I think as a real opportunity to kind of make a difference, one of the things that we're doing as an organisation is really what we can do to support mental health and mental fitness. It's never been higher on the agenda across both businesses and education, particularly in the wake of what has been, an amplified pandemic and how people are feeling as a result of lockdown and what people are experiencing. Many people are still working from home, and for some people, that can cause real loneliness and isolation. And impact on morale and motivation in terms of being able to do your job. And for people who are returning to the workplace, there's that level of anxiety, stress and panicking that could be looming in regards to changes in routine and coming back to a COVID safe workspace. In terms of some of the statistics on my slide at the moment, you'll see that 450 million people worldwide have a mental health problem, and that's 1 in 6 adults recognised as having a health condition at any given time. And it's now as our job as leaders and managers within organisations, and what we're trying to do as a business is to try and tackle this and put the support mechanisms in place to make sure that it's not only brought up the agenda but remains on the agenda continuously. In terms of what this can mean as an employer, it's our duty as employers to look after and be aware and concerned about employees' well-being, and many businesses will really look at mental health as a core offer of training for any employee, and the knock-on effects and positivity that can have in terms of decreasing absenteeism, improving productivity across your organisation. And there's lots of employers and partnerships that we're working with at the moment, to look at how we can really drive, mental health support and training. And, we as an organisation in our own right have, mental health first aiders and ambassadors that champion mental fitness and health and wellbeing across the organisation. And what we're trying to do is to introduce programmes that can be delivered to staff and colleagues, not just if they're a first aider, or there might have been a mental health first aider, or even a counsellor, but any employee that can have that meaningful conversation with a colleague, and giving them the tools and tips to be able to kind of create that healthy mental health environment. So that leads me on to some of the products and services that we've been working on here at NCFE and CASH. Our aim as an organisation is to provide individuals with the skills that they need to improve outcomes and create those mentally healthy environments. Our mental health qualifications have been developed to support individuals with mental well-being and raise awareness and understanding of some of the common issues. Our level 1 award in mental health awareness, last year alone, over 7,000 learners were put through that qualification. And that's really designed to raise awareness of uses surrounding mental health difficulties. And despite some of the myths and misconceptions that are frequently linked to mental health issues, it's around developing the learner's knowledge of the rights of those people with mental health and how to best be placed to support them through that. Our level 2 certificate in understanding mental first aid and mental health advocacy within the workplace, again, that only launched at the start of the year, and we've already had over 3,000 learners study that qualification. And that is to provide learners with the skills that they need to support their colleagues who have got mental health problems, increasing their knowledge and understanding of mental health conditions, and really unpicking some of the learning principles of mental health first aid and how that can be implemented within the workplace effectively. I think it's really important, that we consider as the delivery of some of our qualifications, the behavioural indicators, and some of the signs that can be spotted across any business in terms of someone having a decrease in their mental health and mental fitness. And so our qualifications are specifically designed with experts in their field, subject matter experts and partnership organisations to give that real sense of clarity and understanding and to inform how best to be delivering these qualifications in order for them to have the best impact. Now, one of the most recent qualifications that we've worked on as an organisation is around reducing suicide, and we've been working with some partner organisations on a suicide awareness qualification. And hopefully, if technology allows it, I will play a short video which will introduce what we've been doing around helping to reduce suicide and the impact of that. If we do have some sound issues, do bear with us, and we will. The video is subtitled, and we will forward the link out to everyone who's joined today's session. So fingers crossed this will work. Hopefully my next slide will come in there. Bear with me, I'm trying to get to the next slide. Don't want to play the video again. Joy of man in technology, so bear with me.
It's all right, Dan.
There we go.
All been there.
Okay, so it was subtitled, and if you did struggle to hear that, we will send that YouTube link out to colleagues. That was a qualification we launched in September around taking steps to reduce suicide. And As mentioned earlier, mental health issues are on the rise, and unfortunately, in times of increased mental health, the risk of suicide does also increase. We understand that this is difficult and sometimes quite a taboo subject to discuss, but when you consider the figures, it just shows how important it is to be on everyone's radar. And as an employer and also as an individual, it's something that's personal to many people, myself included. So mental health training can go far beyond increasing productivity and looking after colleagues' well-being. It can actually save lives. And our unique partnership with, as Cash, BDLD, ALP and LearnBox came together earlier in the year to really look at how we can develop programs to support this and give people the most appropriate training in order to be able to, genuinely save lives and make that positive impact. So in terms of, stats, again, quite alarming. In 2019, there were 5,691 suicides registered in England and Wales. In the UK, men are 3 times more likely to die by suicide than a woman. And 1 in 5 of us do suffer from suicidal thoughts. And again, the recent months and experiences that people have had in terms of isolation, increased anxiety, and having to, operate their professional and personal lives in a very different way to what they've ever been used to in our lifetime has certainly, increased some of these figures, which, are very alarming and action can be taken. One of the key things that we're saying as part of our campaign, launching the suicide awareness qualifications, is that you don't have to be a doctor to save lives. And, suicides may not be predictable, but they certainly are preventable. And we firmly believe, and again, linking back to our core purpose to promote and advance learning, that high quality education can raise awareness and, equip people with the skills to connect with those people that are most at risk, and giving people the confidence and the tools to be able to have meaningful conversations, to spot those signs that many people may not be able to, and have that talk, to check in with people and give you the most appropriate tools to help facilitate those very, that we know, challenging and conversations that people might not feel come naturally. We've collaborated with experts to develop the first regulated qualification awards in the UK to raise awareness and reduce suicide. The first being our Level 2 award in suicide awareness. This is a knowledge-based qualification, and it's designed to raise awareness and understanding of suicide. It's suitable for individuals aged 16 plus, including adult learners in any sector. And it can be fully delivered and assessed remotely on the partnership we have with LearnBox on their platform. It's only 13 guided learning hours, so that qualification can be delivered and undertaken in just 2 days. So again, some of the details on screen there in terms of that particular Level 2 qualification, a 2-day program that really can support the mental well-being and fitness within your organisation. The next qualification is the Level 3 award in steps towards reducing suicide. And this aims to provide a more structured approach to having the conversation with those who may be at risk of suicide, including colleagues, customers, friends or family members. It's perfect for employers or those that may be in a HR role or similar capacity. And that's a short 7-hour course, meaning that the qualification can be completed alongside work or other training commitments, and is that step after the Level 2. And we firmly believe that these qualifications will improve the outcomes, raise awareness, and reduce the stigma that just sit behind talking about suicide. And again, it's about equipping people with the right terminology to use, how to frame a conversation. What we've done, and I've been heavily involved in the development of this program and sat on the project group right from inception, is we've worked with suicide survivors and understand real people's stories, because you can't always spot the signs. And I know this from personal experience, unfortunately, and where you think people are okay, sometimes they're not. And what we've done in the development of the qualification, but also the learning materials and the support resources that can be delivered remotely on the LearnBox platform is by talking to real suicide survivors, understanding their stories, and some of their stories and scenarios and situations have been built into some of the learning resources, and how the programme can be delivered to have the greatest impact. In terms of finding out more about NCFE cash or our qualifications, or the qualifications that I've touched on briefly today, you can visit our website, which is cash.org.uk/mental health. You can scan the QR code on the screen with your camera. We work with over 4,000 training organisations in the UK, and you can visit our qualification hub to find the most appropriate and approved training provider in your local area, who are accredited to be able to deliver these qualifications. And again, if you need any further support or want any more information about any of the qualifications, or in particular the suicide awareness qualifications that I've given you a brief overview of today, you can also get in touch with us by emailing steps@cash.org.uk, and we can get that ball rolling and get you started. If you're not a registered training organisation in your own right, please still email us, because we can put you in touch with an approved provider who can come in and deliver these qualifications on your behalf. In some cases, subject to eligibility, these are fully funded qualifications as well. So any training organisation who have got government funded contracts, subject to learner eligibility, these qualifications could be fully funded, so they would be at no cost to you as an organisation. But there are also commercial routes as well, if you just wanted to pay to have these programmes delivered to any of your workforce and colleagues. I wanted to leave quite a lot of time in today's session for questions and answers. So I'm hopeful that you found some of the things that we've discussed today useful, and I'm more than happy now to open up the floor to any questions that anyone on today's session may have. Thank you.
Thanks for this, Dan. We're gonna let's see if we get any questions coming in through the chat now. I wanted to ask, what are the usual questions that people usually have when they're thinking about these qualifications, or they approach you as an organisation on these topics and these very important issues?
It depends on the type of organisation, because we work with every college in the country and over 4,000 training organisations, but some of the common questions that we get asked specifically from businesses and employer partners that we work with is, how can we deliver this ourselves? How do we be trained to deliver it maybe in-house? So some businesses have their own learning and development function or training teams who are familiar with their workforce and colleagues who deliver some of their other kind of corporate and mandatory training programs. So we get a lot of questions around the flexibilities of that. And again, there are train the trainer sessions that we have a level 4 accredited train the trainer program specifically for the suicide awareness qualifications. So again, we can equip people within businesses to deliver this training, as well as support people to bring in a regulated training organisation to do that on their behalf as well. So normally it's about how can this be delivered, and how can we support them through that. But we have a lot of provider development support and dedicated teams in place to be able to kind of hold the hands of businesses to be able to deliver some of our qualification.
Thanks for that. I can see we've got a question in the chat here from Antonia. She says, are the courses face-to-face courses, or can they be done by distance learning?
Yes, so we have a blended approach. So I think that's down to preference of the learner. Certainly since March, many organisations and the education system in a whole have adapted their delivery in terms of how to deliver teaching, learning and assessment. So the use of online learning is available for these programs. We've made sure that the specific content learning resources to help people achieve the learning outcomes of these regulated qualifications. So it's a complete blended approach that we can facilitate a remote face-to-face, as it were, with delivery practitioners. So again, utilising the technology that we're using today, Zoom, Teams, and various other video conferencing platforms. But also we do have a full online learning package as well, which will guide people through all of the learning materials and resources in order to be able to achieve the outcomes and meet the milestones to achieve the regulated qualifications.
And another question that's come in, if you're concerned about somebody in your family or somebody in your network, is there any general information out there on your website that people could get access to before they embark on the qualification or they go down that route after listening to your presentation today?
Yeah, and I think, certainly there are national recognised organisations who are very specialist in this particular subject. So, excuse me, whilst we do have information literature on our website, I would also, recommend people talking to nationally recognised organisations such as the Samaritans. There are suicide helplines and various other localised charities up and down the country who are specifically trained in this particular subject matter. And, I wouldn't want to kind of give a view in terms of which organisation is better than the other. There are a vast array of organisations up and down the country who operate nationally and regionally. So I would recommend, the Samaritans and other suicide prevention organisations. But again, there are information around, mental health on our website.
Thanks very much. Sophie is sharing some of the links in the chat if anybody here would like to click through and join those. And I think that is bringing us up to our allocated time actually for today. So on that note, if there are no further questions, please reach out to the NCFE. Please talk to them in the booth in the Learning at Work Week live event today. Sophie and the team will be on the booth there to answer any questions. There's brochures you can download and links you can click through to the website as well. So please stick around in the event and talk to the team at NCFE. And thank you very much, Dan. This was really interesting. I'm sure, like others have mentioned in the chat, people really enjoyed it and it's beneficial to hear.
Absolute pleasure. And again, thank you for having me, present today. It's a real privilege. So thank you.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Enjoy the rest of the day.
Have a lovely afternoon.
Thank you.